We're gonna explain Michael Scott in 6 minutes or less. One of the strangely narcissistic, egotistical, problematic, and yet also compassionate, caring, loving, good friend, good boss. So what prompted Michael to be so insecure, to be such a flawed character in this way? Well, he has a real disdain for authority. If it's not Michael's authority, it's nobody's. And the perfect example of this is the dynamic with Toby from HR, which honestly mimics the relationship we get a sense of through flashbacks and throughout the series of Michael's dynamic with his own mother, who constantly belittled him. And so Michael doesn't want anybody to put any rules on him or his culture. In his own way, he's trying to create a safe haven where he's the only authority, and his authority creates some kind of familial bond and friendship that he always lacked. Michael's deepest fear? Well, it's that he's gonna be alone. That's why he wanted 10 kids to force to be his friends. That's why his mother's disapproval of him is so pivotal in who he is as a character. And that's also why the drama of the series works so well right off the bat, because everything Michael's doing to try and gain the approval, the friendship, the bond with the people who work with him, well, it has the opposite effect. It's driving them away. Everything he does starts getting more and more extreme, which is part of the source of the cringe comedy that everybody loves so much on the show. He starts putting his foot in his mouth more and more frequently, and it's always coming from his desperation to please, but it's pushing people away, it's offending them, it's scaring them, it's sexist, it's borderline racist, it becomes problematic, it creates something that is both funny, but also a little bit tragic. And while some of this is funny, from his performances, to his songs, to his endless speeches, to his need to constantly get everybody in a room together and lecture them, if you had to live with it or work with it, you'd be pretty annoyed, and it would become pretty intolerable. But all these awful things he's doing stem from a deep need to be accepted, to be loved, to be part of some kind of family. Let's go back to where it all started. And this is true for everyone, childhood. One of Michael Scott's most defining moments in the entire run of The Office is when we catch a glimpse of a video he did as a kid where he talks about on a contest wanting to have 10 children. And what is his reason? So he has people who can't say no to being his friend. What does this tell us about the character of Michael Scott? Well, it tells us that he always wanted captive friendships or an audience, which is exactly what The Office becomes for him. Dunder Mifflin becomes a place where Michael can make everybody a makeshift family. And while there's a tyrannical element to this, it is also something that kind of in the long run works. Underneath it all, in his desperation to please, Michael actually cares about these people. He wants them to like him, but he wants them to be friends and family. He has created a culture that people cannot escape from. And he is a figure that they absolutely must relate to in a positive way. So all the egoism and narcissism is wrapped up in something that's related to just the need for friendship. Michael struggles with being accepted. He has stories about being bullied as a child, being thrown in the lake, and these are the things that define that need that drives him to create the culture of the Dunder Mifflin office, which is what drives the entire series. But the magical thing about all of this, Michael's efforts to create this bond, to get deeper and closer with everybody that he works with, actually end up working. He ends up connecting with everyone. They end up realizing that he genuinely cared about them, that his love language was all these strange traps and cringy moments and desperate attempts to trap them into this dynamic, but they recognize the humanity and the heart that is driving him behind all of it. And once they start to see that bit by bit, they come to love Michael and recognize the things that he's doing out of the goodness of his heart, the ways he might go to bat for them, the fact that he's actually a pretty good salesman, the fact that he protects their section of Dunder Mifflin from others or from other forces that might want to harm it, the way he would go above and beyond to support them in unique circumstances. And that through the course of the show, the other characters recognize this and come to love Michael, respect him, even miss him when he finally leaves, which is something nobody could have predicted at the very beginning. Somebody who is introduced in this series as something of a nightmare boss actually ends up becoming someone everyone in the office loves, misses, cares about, and respects, who's actually even good at their job, and sets something of a tone for us on how we might want to relate to others. And this is really, truly crazy when you consider the starting point and the surface of some of the things Michael does. But it's the power of character psychology and what's working on the deeper level. And if you can add or see conflicting elements within the same persona, that's what creates truly lasting drama and characters that we will go back to and care about for all time. Thanks so much. I'm George Gentleman at MovieWeb. Please be sure to like, rate, and subscribe. Stick around, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Thanks so much for watching.